I think that one of the most underrated skills in life is saying less, doing more, speaking less, and being better at listening. So in this episode, we're going to look at what the Stoics have to say about silence. If you become good at keeping quiet, you can change your life. So let's get into it. So Epictetus said that it is actually possible for things to be both rare and common. And he said this in the context of people who are skilled at controlling their emotions. He said it's really common to find people who get angry or depressed or fearful or frustrated. But it's rare to find people who are able to master those emotions, keep themselves together. But if you look at social media, you see the exact opposite. It's super common to find people who are keeping themselves together, and it's quite rare to find somebody who doesn't project their emotions online. And you can use this idea of saying less, doing more, not just in your career, not just to get ahead of other people, but also to help yourself personally. So many of us, we speak too much. We speak before we think. We interrupt other people. We don't listen. And so this series is going to help you do all of those things. In today's episode, we're going to look at 3 quotes from Seneca, Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Musonius Rufus. And each one of these quotes is going to teach us a different way that we can be better at shutting up and focusing on what we are doing. Seneca once wrote, "It is not that life is short, it is that we waste a lot of it." And you can apply this idea to speaking less. You could argue that it's not that there aren't enough opportunities out there. It's that we waste a lot of them. We talk too much. We say the wrong things at the wrong time. We interrupt people. We don't listen. And so by changing our behavior, by becoming better at keeping quiet, we will open ourselves up to all sorts of new opportunities. I love the idea of there being a direct correlation between speaking less and living more. When you keep yourself under control, when you learn how to keep your mouth shut, you are free to do whatever you want, and that leads to a more meaningful and a happier life. Epictetus, the former slave, said that it is impossible for the same person to learn 2 different arts equally well. He said, "He who is learning 2 arts is not learning either one perfectly." And he meant that if you try to get good at 2 different things, like maybe public speaking and writing, you won't end up mastering either one of them. Now, obviously, I completely disagree with this. There are plenty of people who are great at 2 things. They're great at public speaking and writing. They're great at 2 different art forms. They're great at 2 different sports. But I think that Epictetus was making a more general point here that you shouldn't spread yourself too thin. You shouldn't try to tackle everything at once because you end up failing at all of it. So if you want to get better at something, if you want to master a skill, then focus on one thing and give it your full attention. Don't try to be good at 2 different things at once. Don't try to talk over other people and write at the same time. Don't try to listen to somebody while you're watching TV. Give the thing that you're working on your full attention. And that means putting away your phone, turning off the TV, and really committing yourself to what you're doing. I think one of the reasons why so few people become excellent at anything is because they always distracted by some other opportunity. They're always looking over their shoulder to see what else might be happening. They're always trying to do 2 different things at the same time. And they do end up being good at neither one of them. So if you want to change your life, start by concentrating on what you're doing. Stop letting your mind wander to all these other potential opportunities and just focus on the thing that you're redoing right now. Become good at that, and you'll be amazed by how far you can go. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "He who has overcome his small self is greater than he who has taken a city." This is the 2nd time in as many episodes that we have quoted this line from Meditations. And it's such an important lesson for us today. So many of us, we spend our entire lives trying to build up a big self, right? We're trying to be bigger than everybody else. We want to make sure that our voice is heard. We want to make sure that nobody ever forgets our name. And maybe that's at the expense of being a good husband or a good brother or a good friend or a good employee. We want to be number 1 at everything. But according to Marcus Aurelius, the real victory, the real achievement isn't about taking a city, it's about taking yourself. If you really want to achieve something great, then stop worrying about what everybody else thinks. Stop worrying about impressing other people. Stop worrying about building up this big ego and start worrying about building up your character. Stop worrying about being number one and start worrying about being the best version of yourself. There's a story about Musonius Rufus, a Stoic philosopher from around the same time as Epictetus, who was renowned for his lectures in the public spaces of ancient Rome. And he would often lecture people while they were doing other things, while they were walking by. And one day he saw two young men playing dice, and he walked up to them, and he started lecturing them about how irresponsible they were being, how they should be taking their lives more seriously. And as he was lecturing them, they just kept rolling the dice, and they won money hand over fist, and Musonius Rufus realized that he had made a mistake interrupting them, that maybe they weren't being as frivolous as he had thought. And so he said to them, "If you wish, I will continue my discourse." And they said, "No, you won't bother us." And Musonius Rufus understood in that moment that sometimes it's better to stay silent. Sometimes it's better not to interrupt other people. So I think that this is a really valuable lesson for us today. Just because we know something, just because we have an opinion about something, it doesn't mean that we need to share it with other people. In fact, sometimes it's better to keep quiet, to be in the background, to observe what other people are doing rather than to try to tell them what they should be doing. Sometimes it's better to listen rather than to talk. We quote Seneca all the time on this channel. And in fact, next week, we're going to be releasing our first ever episode on Seneca. We're going to be covering the 4 most important lessons from his life and from his work. But here's a little known fact about Seneca, something that most people don't know. Seneca wrote 9 tragedies, 9 comedies, and 8 satires. And the reason I bring this up is because most people think that Seneca was only a Stoic, that he was only capable of writing serious things, that he was only capable of talking about important topics. But in reality, he was a master of comedy, of satire, of understanding human nature. And he used that talent, that skill to inform his philosophy. So even though he wrote serious books about Stoicism, he did it with wit, with humor, with satire. And that's part of the reason why his work has survived for so long. And so I hope you'll subscribe to the channel. Next week, we're going to be releasing a whole episode devoted to Seneca, and we'd love to have you there for it. But until then, if you want to keep improving, if you want to keep getting better, we've got 2 challenges for you. First, take 30 days and read through all of Seneca's letters. Seneca was probably the most prolific letter writer in the ancient world. He wrote hundreds of letters to his friends, to his students, to people all across the Roman Empire. And in these letters, he covers pretty much every philosophical topic that he talks about in his books. Plus, it's a great way to improve your own writing. So we challenge you to take 30 days and read through all of Seneca's letters. Second, take 30 days and read through the entire body of work by Marcus Aurelius, Meditations. It's one of the shortest and easiest books to read in the entire ancient library, but it's absolutely packed with wisdom. So take 30 days and read through the entire book. Read 1 page a day, meditate on it, think about it, and write down any insights that you have. We're confident that if you take these 2 challenges, if you spend 60 days reading the works of Seneca and Marcus Aurelius, you're going to walk away a better, smarter, more successful person. And if you complete the challenge, you can write to us and we'll add you to our wall of fame. So good luck. We know you can do it. And thank you so much for watching.